It's been an exciting week here in Cowboy Country after Oklahoma State's impressive win against TCU. We get you ready for the Cowboys college football playoff push through the Big 12's elite.
We also take a look at other OSU athletics as the winter sports begin their regular seasons. All that and more coming up on the Poke Report. Welcome to this week's edition of the Poke Report. I'm Amelia Henderson.
And I'm Curtis Quillen. Saturday was the first time since hosting unbeaten number 4 Baylor in 2013 that Oklahoma State was not favored at kickoff in a game here at Boone Pickens Stadium.
And we all know how that game turned out. We go to Zach Baden for a full recap on how the underdog Cowboys flipped the script again on this highly ranked opponent.
Cowboy football had easily its highest anticipated game so far Saturday, but it quickly turned into the team's second most comfortable conference win. For the first time, it felt as if the whole squad was firing on all cylinders against a strong opponent and dominated in all three phases of the game. The defense set the tone, forcing a 3-and-out on TCU's first possession and an interception to Jordan Burton on its second. The offense continued the momentum, and James Washington didn't miss a beat after his monstrous second half versus Texas Tech. Mason Rudolph connected with Washington not on one, but two nearly identical 50-yard verticals for touchdowns in the first quarter. The special teams chipped in as well, blocking a try after the Frogs' first score, and punter Zach Seiner pinning the Horned Frogs in the shadow of their own end zone. The redshirt freshman continued his impressive season and had 9 punts on the day. 6 of them were inside the 20. Rudolph added 2 more passing TDs in the second quarter, including another deep ball, this time 82 yards to Marcel Aitman, giving OSU a 28-9 advantage at half. They began the second much the same style as the first. Chad Whitener read Trayvon Boykin's eyes perfectly and returned the pick for what was initially ruled a touchdown, but review showed he stepped out at the 1, creating the perfect opportunity for senior J.W. Walsh to continue what he's done all season and punch it in himself on the next play. Both offenses continued to trade scores, and Washington broke free again for his third TD, but was actually forced to break a tackle this time. TCU seemed to be on the verge of threatening the lead, but a huge goal line stand in a 19-play drive closed any realistic chance for the Frogs. Whitener made it official with 44 seconds left, and there was no doubt that his second interception was good for 6 to put the Pokes back up 20. It was Boykin's fourth of the afternoon. Final score, Oklahoma State 49, TCU 29. Next up for the Cowboys is a chance to avenge the heartbreaking loss in 2011 at Iowa State, but at the time, Whitener and the rest of the team seemed happy to enjoy 9-0. For the Poke Report, I'm Zach Baden.
Now all OSU has to do is play that way against Iowa State, Baylor, and then OU, and they could have a shot at the playoffs. It's going to be tough, but I think the Cowboys can do it.
You know, the surprise of the win, not the only similarity to the Baylor game in 2013. The Cowboys also scored 49 points in that game with a defensive touchdown, and they came up with a huge goal line stand to offset surrendering more than 500 yards of offense. It's crazy how history can repeat itself.
And unfortunately for the Cowboys, history looks as if it is repeating itself in regards to how the Big 12 Conference is being treated by the playoff committee. The Cowboys checked in at number 8 this week, a jump of 6 spots, which is the second highest in playoff ranking history. Still, many thought the Cowboys should have been higher and even in the top 4.
The committee may not have put much stock in the Cowboys' performance, but plenty of others did. Now keep in mind, the Big 12's biggest games have yet to be played. Oklahoma State swept through the Big 12 Players of the Week for the first time since 1997 with Mason Rudolph, Chad Whitener, and Zach Seiner, each taking the Offensive, Defensive, and Special Teams Award respectively. Rudolph was also named Quarterback of the Week by the Walter Camp Foundation, and finally, after huge back-to-back games, James Washington was added to the Biletnikoff Award watch list that goes to the nation's top receiver.
The spotlight was in Stillwater, but OSU was not the only team to make a statement last weekend. Let's go around the Big 12 to see who else is competing for the conference title and a potential spot in the football playoffs. Baylor has renewed confidence in its season outlook after true freshman Jarrett Stidham picked up right where the injured Seth Russell left off. In his first start, Stidham threw for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns, including an 81-yard strike to Corey Coleman. The junior wide receiver now is tied for third all-time in the Big 12 for touchdown catches in a season with Justin Blackmon at 20. The Bears scored only 10 points in the second half, but survived a late push from Wildcats when Terrell Burt intercepted an attempted double pass from quarterback/wideout Cody Cook. Their undefeated season remained intact with a final score of 31-24.
Baylor's opponent this weekend, Oklahoma, continues to remind everyone that it's a contender as well. The Sooners didn't miss a beat offensively against an Iowa State defense who shut out Texas the week before. They scored on 3 of their first 4 drives and 4 of their last 5. Often on big plays like this 74-yard Baker Mayfield bomb to Sterling Shepard. The Sooners win easily, 56-16.
Elsewhere, West Virginia got its first conference win against Texas Tech in Morgantown. And Texas rolled against Kansas to bounce back from an embarrassing trip to Ames.
Basketball is back, and Travis Ford's Cowboys are looking for their 4th straight NCAA tournament appearance. There's plenty of new faces on the team and roles still to be defined. We caught a glimpse of that last Friday in the Cowboys exhibition game against East Central. Freshman and top 100 recruit Devon Dillard looked to be the best athlete on the court in his first collegiate action. He just missed what would have been a monster dunk early in the second half and showed strong versatility as the 3, standing at 6'5", 215 pounds. Graduate transfer Chris Olivier also impressed, going 3 for 5 from the field and 5 for 6 from the line for 11 points in 16 minutes. Unfortunately, OSU's top recruit, point guard Jawan Evans, was out with an ankle injury, but sophomore Tyree Griffin was extremely efficient stepping into the starting role. He didn't miss a shot all night, hitting 2 threes and all 6 of his free throws. Travis Ford says he was pleased with the interior passing as senior Anthony Allen added 3 assists from the block, resulting in layups or dunks.
I know everyone, including myself, is excited to see what Jawan Evans can bring to the table this year, and Lucas Messina met up with the man himself to see exactly how he's preparing for his first collegiate season.
Jawan Evans has been a winner everywhere he's been because he makes everybody else around him a better basketball player. There's not many point guards that are going to be faster or quicker than Jawan Evans. He has a great understanding of the game, and he's extremely unselfish. He's got some toughness about him as far as willingness to learn, and that's a toughness. We tell our guys, you got to be tough enough to be willing to take criticism and look the coach in the eye and say, yes, sir, I'm going to go try to do that and not make excuses. He's one of those guys that's so willing to want to learn and get better.
Class 2015, number 4, Jawan Evans.
This year, Oklahoma State introduces a new face to the court. As an NBA top 100 player out of high school, he's something to be excited for.
Freshman year, averaging about 19 a game. Ended up making it to state, but ended up losing in the state championship game by like 12 points. So, I mean, it was a great freshman year.
But freshman year was just a preview, as Evans' sophomore year was even bigger.
I was averaging about 25, 26, about 7 to 8 rebounds, and about 10 assists a game. So I had a big year that year.
It didn't take long for Evans to grab attention of college teams as he received his first offer from the University of Cincinnati after just the first game of his sophomore season.
That just surprised me, being as in it's our first game, and they was there watching me, and I got that offer, so it was just a great thing.
His freshman year was played at Southside High School, his sophomore year at Legacy Charter High School, both in South Carolina. His third year meant his third school, but this time in Dallas, Texas.
The move was just a big move, big difference, in being in big cities. I wasn't used to it yet, I didn't know really anybody, so I really just stayed in the gym, trying to get better. And I came out good my junior year. We ended up making it to state. We ended up winning actually, so it was my first state ring. So I mean, I had a great junior year too. I started off bad, but ended up going good.
To get his name out there and work on his game even more, Evans went to multiple camps.
I went to Kyrie Irving, NBA Top 100, Reebok breakout camp. So great camps, worked on my game better. It's a challenge, going against the top guards in the country and playing with them. So you just have to come play hard every day. So.
His successes at these camps and school had colleges like Illinois and USC pulling for Evans. But in the end, he chose to be an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Basically, just the perfect fit for me, the team and the coaching staff, it's like a big family, closer to home too, so my mom can come down here when she wanted to.
and he's already comfortable in his new home.
Oh, I love it. You know, you got it's just a great crowd yelling and screaming all the time when you score or when you get a stop or something like that. I mean, so I'm loving the environment.
The hype around Jawaan Evans is no joke. He's something great. Just ask some of his teammates.
Oh, Jawaan Evans, he's like a baby Chris Paul.
But now, like, I'm trying to help Jawaan out, you know. He's already, better than me.
I mean, Jawaan coming in, he's a scorer himself. He just doesn't know it yet.
I'm learning from him, so I mean, it's a great thing. So right now, I'm just trying to focus on this year, just trying to have a great year for my teammates.
For the Polk Report, I'm Lucas Messina.
It'll be interesting to see how this team progresses over the course of the season.
While the Cowboys are focused on the arrival of a new star, the Cowgirl basketball team already has an established top dog, an honorable mention All-American, Brittany Martin. Megan Mordeo sits down with Martin to see how she builds on a monster junior season.
At the end of this basketball season, Brittany Martin will play her last game in Gallagher-Iba Arena. The senior from Syracuse, Utah, didn't originally plan on attending Oklahoma State, but she's sure glad she did. Martin led Syracuse High School to 2 state titles and a runner-up finish, and she was highly recruited. Martin was ranked the number 19 prospect out of high school by ESPN Hoop Girls. She committed to Utah as a freshman in high school, but decommitted to take her official visits to other schools.
I took one visit to Oklahoma State, and I loved it, and I just fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the atmosphere. I just felt like this was a place to be where I could have a family.
And if family is what she got, Martin led the team last season in scoring, steals, and rebounds. She earned multiple honors such as First Team All-Big 12 and All-Region selection. Coach Littell also has high hopes for Martin this year.
I think Brittany Martin this year is going to embrace the role of being more of a scorer and someone that we're projecting to do good things.
Martin says playing basketball at Oklahoma State has given her the opportunity to not only do what she loves, but also to be a role model to kids who look up to her. Martin was one of 6 players named to the preseason All-American Big 12 team, and she's just getting started. She averaged 25 points per game and 4.5 rebounds in the Cowgirls exhibition games. She's excited and hopeful for this season. As her time here at Oklahoma State comes to an end, Martin said she's grown a lot. She's learned about herself on and off of the court. She has high expectations for herself for her senior season.
For me, I just kind of want to leave here knowing that I gave all I had my senior year, and kind of just knowing that I pushed myself to be good and set an example for what needs to be done while you're here.
As for her team, she hopes to make it back to the NCAA tourney. For the Polk Report, I'm Megan Mordeo.
Coming up, see how the wrestling team will make history today, and we'll preview today's football game in Ames.
This is the Polk Report on O State TV. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the right gear to support your Cowboys, but are unsure of where to begin? Maybe you're looking for a shirt or a hat, or a sweatshirt. Or perhaps you're looking for just some OSU souvenirs to liven up your home or workspace. Whatever your need is, Hall of Fame Book Trader has you covered. With a large selection of Polk apparel, every member of the family is sure to find what they need. So why hassle with anywhere else? Come by Hall of Fame Book Trader today and let us set you up in America's brightest orange.
Welcome back to the Polk Report on O State TV and Cox Cable. I'm Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. Basketball is not the only sport getting started this weekend. Oklahoma State's top-ranked wrestling squad is looking to get its 35th national title. Carson Colvin explains how, regardless of the results, records will be broken in Iowa City.
Never before has an NCAA Division I wrestling match been held in the stadium. Until now.
Well, inside this building, Oklahoma State and Iowa Hawkeye wrestlers are in here, a lot of them in the Hall of Fame. But something happening this weekend could be historic.
The number 1 ranked Oklahoma State wrestling team will travel to Iowa City, Iowa to face the Hawkeyes in Kinnick Stadium. This is the first match for both teams. The stadium has more than 70,000 seats. On October 1st, a startling 20,000 ticket sales were recorded for the Saturday showdown. Other wrestling schools have set records. Penn State met a dual meet record of 15,996 back in 2013, breaking its previous record. But this match hopes to blow that right out of the water.
This is something that, is going to be huge for wrestling. If you get that many people there, you get that exposure. If we can make the matches exciting, especially on a football field, that's just kind of something that's never happened before. I don't think it has happened before. So I think doing things like that promotes it and makes it exciting, especially two teams like us and our rivalry. To do it for the first time will be something that people will enjoy.
Usually accustomed to wrestling on a mat indoors, the players will face the Iowa fall weather with a game day high of 58 and a low of 38 degrees.
I mean, it's definitely going to be something a little bit cooler than what we're used to, but I really don't believe it's going to be an issue with any of the student athletes. So our biggest concern is obviously the mat, making sure that the mat is in good shape, and most everything I've heard that won't be an issue.
The two teams usually wrestle in January, but the match was moved up so it could be played on the football field before the cold Iowa winter sets in. The match will precede the Iowa-Minnesota football game to be played that night. The two schools combined for 57 NCAA championships, and this match should be motivation for both schools to go all out. For the Poke Report, I'm Carson Colvin.
Smith has also hinted that if events are proven successful, they could be held here in Stillwater and also be a reason to fill Boone Pickens Stadium.
I'm in. The only question I have, will they let bullets circle the mat after a match win? The Cowgirls soccer team season came to an abrupt end last Wednesday when they lost to number 2 West Virginia 2-1 in the first round of the Big 12 championships, and an 8th placed finish in the Big 12 during the regular season wasn't enough to warrant an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament.
Still, the season produced some great memories and highlights, and Bill Lynch takes us through this crazy roller coaster of a season.
2015 has been a successful year for the Cowgirls soccer team. OSU started the season off with a tie against Southern Methodist University at home. And the following week, the Cowgirls faced Mercer at home and came away with their first win of the season. The next match was a loss to the University of Oklahoma, where the Cowgirls were unable to put points on the board and lost 2-0. The Cowgirls would next face off against Georgia at home and would end in a shutout 4-0 win. The Cowgirls would go on to lose the next 3 matches on the road, but managed to put points on the board every game. Against Florida, the Cowgirls would put up 2 points, but would fall 3-2. Against the University of Central Florida, Ellie Stevenson would score the only point for the Cowgirls. Against Washington State, Courtney DK would score in the 36th minute, but the Cowgirls would go on to lose both games 2-1. For the next match, the Cowgirls would shut out Gonzaga, winning 2-0 on the road. The Cowgirls would continue their winning trend, winning 3-2 over Arizona State at home and 2-1 over the University of Missouri, Kansas City on the road. The next 2 matches the Cowgirls would lose, 1-0 against Baylor and 3-0 against TCU. The Cowgirls would come home for the next 4 games. The first match would result in a 2-2 tie against Texas Tech and a scoreless game against Texas. The Cowgirls would go on to face Drake and win 3-0, then take on Oral Roberts and score an unanswered 8 points. The Cowgirls would win 1-0 against Iowa State on the road, the only point coming from Ellie Stevenson, but then lose to West Virginia 1-0. A 2-0 win against Kansas with points from Madison Mercado and Nikki McKnight, but unfortunately that would be the last win for the Cowgirls this season. Going on to lose to Oklahoma 2-1, and then in the Big 12 championship, lose 2-1 to West Virginia. Ellie Stevenson would leave the team in goals at the end of the season with 6, followed by Courtney DK with 5. The Cowgirls will end their 2015 season 9-9-2. For the Poke Report, I'm Bill Lynch.
A lot of key players will be returning next season, including strikers Courtney DK and Marlo Zoller, and a lot of young talent as well, so the future is bright for this team.
Today, cross country is at regional competition in Lawrence, Kansas. The 6th-ranked Cowboys and 13th-ranked Cowgirls will try to build on an already successful year that saw Oklahoma State sweep the Big 12 championships 2 weeks ago. Runners will be hoping to qualify individually and as a team for the NCAA championships next Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky.
The 5th-ranked equestrian team hosts TCU today at the Toe-to-Sec Animal Science Arena and will try to send a Horned Frog team back to Fort Worth unhappy for the 2nd week in a row. The Cowgirls will be hoping for another good performance from Big 12 Rider of the Month, Aaron Willoughby.
Men's tennis has the doubles pairing of All-Americans Arjun Kadhi and Julian Cash competing at the USTA ITA National Indoor Collegiate Championships in Flushing Meadows, New York, the site of the US Open. The duo had to win 4 consecutive matches in order to qualify back in October and beat the 20th and 5th ranked teams in the process. Competition began on Thursday with 20 teams and runs through tomorrow.
Watching those men and women consistently play long rallies in the matches makes this sport seem almost effortless. But how tough is it really? Matt McGann met up with some of OSU's tennis team to find out.
From afar, it looks simple, fluent. And if you're ignorant, you might call it easy. Let me be the first to say it is the furthest thing from easy.
Hi everyone, I'm with OSU women's tennis team. We're going to be here on the court. We're going to play a little bit and we're going to see what it's really like being on the court playing tennis with the women's tennis team.
Hi! The balls!
So tell me about, singles and doubles. What's the difference? Y'all are partners. How do you play together?
Mysterious. No, it's actually pretty good. It's kind of easy. I'm good at the baseline. I set up the point, and she's there next to the net, sneaking the ball, so making winners. So.
You said you hit the ball, pretty hard and whatnot. That's it. I intimidated you.
What are you doing, man?
Holy God. That's nuts.
Your fall season just about ended. I know Katarina's in New York right now. So tell me about, your fall season. Y'all had some great success early on. How does that set up for spring whenever it comes Big 12 and NCAAs?
Yeah, I think it's just builds up the confidence for the whole entire team. We know that each of us can win important matches. So it's kind of show us that work we put in the whole fall pays off on the tournament. So.
Okay, and y'all just swept the singles and doubles, I believe, in the ITAs, and then y'all went to the Sweet 16 last year. You had your Arizona State, moment. All right, so how were the fans for your Arizona State moment then? As soon as you got that point, and as soon as you realized you were advancing, how loud was it?
It was crazy. It was something I never had before.
So what are y'all season goals for this year?
For sure repeat what we've done last year, but I think we also want to win Big 12 finally and
win the Big 12?
Yeah. Hopefully this year we are playing at home, so.
Yeah. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. How big of a deal is that?
It helps a lot, because we have our fans coming and cheering on us, so it's for sure better.
All right, so how is the fan support here? What is it like playing in front of, some OSU Cowboys and
It's loud.
Loud?
It's really loud. It's good. Because a lot of teams, they were oh my God, your fans are annoying. And we're okay, good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, so how much do y'all have left in the tank come NCAAs?
Actually, I think when it comes to Big 12s and NCAA tournament, it just kind of refills, I guess. I mean, it happened to me, I don't know for the entire team, but like for me, it was kind of that way.
All right, well, speaking of, matches, I say we play a full game, like just like, one game, because it'll probably be, real quick 4 points for them, but we'll see. We can play one quick game. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awkward. I know, wrong side. I know, wrong side.
It's okay.
No, you're good. Just say sorry. You're the one who plays tennis.
Get it.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Nah.
No. Athleticism, absolutely not. My goal is to get at least one. That'd be fantastic.
Get it.
That's ridiculous.
Oh.
All right, good. Oh, that's disappointing. I had a little bit of confidence at one point. Oh, all right. But good job, partner.
Well played.
Well played. All right, well, that was kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, we got to know a little bit about OSU women's tennis and the core and how they developed their game. I want to thank y'all very much, for joining me and kicking my butt a little bit. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
But for the Poke Report, I'm Matt McGann.
But just in a few hours, the Cowboys will take on Iowa State in Ames, where they are looking to avoid their fate that derailed their perfect season 4 years ago.
The Cyclones have been tough at home all season. In addition to shutting out Texas 2 weeks ago, Iowa State had a great chance to beat now number 5 Iowa during week 2. They led at half 17-10, but were outscored 21-0 in the second half. The defensive front has been stout, but the secondary is highly susceptible to the deep ball and has routinely given up big plays, as seen against OU last week. Expect OSU's rushing woes to continue, but there is plenty of opportunity in the passing game for Mason Rudolph to have another big day, especially if James Washington can continue his fine form.
Iowa State has one of the more pedestrian offenses in the Big 12, averaging only 25.3 points per game. The Cyclones do have a significant advantage in the run game with Lawton, Oklahoma native freshman Mike Warren, who is 3 yards shy of his first 1,000-yard season. Tripled the yardage of the Cowboys' leading rusher, Chris Carson.
Time now for our weekly college football pick, starting things off today in Kansas City, where Mizzou and BYU are going at it.
And just to mention, I think I haven't lost in a few weeks now, so yeah, I'm just mentioning that. But I do think that the Tigers are going to be a little bit distracted from the events that happened last week, so I'm going to go with BYU.
Not so fast, my friend. I think they actually ride that emotion from last week to a win over the Cougs. Let's jump now to the Big 12. OU and Baylor are going at it today in Waco.
Well, I mean, of course, I always root for the team that's going against OU, but I really just don't think that OU can keep up with the tempo that Baylor has.
I have to agree with you completely there. I think even with Stidham under center for Baylor, I just don't think that the OU corners can keep up with the Baylor receiving core. Ending it today in Ames, Oklahoma State and Iowa State.
Well, this game, it has a similar scenario to the 2011 game in Iowa, but I still think the Cowboys are going to be able to pull it out and go 10-0 on the season.
I like the Cowboys in this one because Iowa State is just struggling. That's all we have this week. On behalf of all of us here at the Poke Report, I'm Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Amelia Henderson. And as always, go Pokes. Thank you for watching.